Um, Hello, welcome back again to your favorite, probably favorite, I'm just gonna go ahead and say favorite for you. Your favorite podcast.
Join Pikachu, Ash, and the gang. The Mandalorian is great in the new series, and let's check out what's new in the world of pop culture with your hosts John, Tim, and Quentin, and a podcast we call Rewind
and Reload.
We are Rewind and Reload. We've done a little bit of rebranding, but the name's still the same.
Yeah.
I'm Tim, and these are my two lovely friends, Quentin and John. How have you boys been?
I've been good. So, right before we started recording, I was like, yo, my neighbors are, having a party, so hopefully everything's all good. And then, second we hit that button, boom, fireworks, so hopefully that's not how the rest of the night goes. Oh, really?
Discord didn't let it go through, but I mean, your local audio might have.
Yeah, it might have.
Maybe. Me and Carly actually just got home here a few minutes ago because her aunt called her and asked if we could run over to her house that's in Wheatfield, because she lives in Chicago and in Wheatfield, and go check on the house because the cat sitter she hired turned the heat on instead of the air conditioning today. The house was 97 degrees.
Were the
How
cats
do they
okay?
know that, though? Do they have, smart bullshit?
Yeah, she has, smart sensors in the house and stuff. So she's like, I think it's wrong. She's like, either the sensors broke or something. So we get there. It's at least, I would say, 15 to 20 degrees hotter than it was outside.
How the fuck do you turn the heat up that
noticeably
far?
Right?
Whoever turns their heat up that high? That was my thing. Was
Our stays at
Okay,
70.
dyslexic. Maybe they were trying to set it to 79.
Still
But even
seems
then,
too
that's
high.
really hot.
that's still warm, yeah.
Even in the
But,
dead of winter, mine
'cause
never goes above 70. I don't know how much that is my parents being cheap or...
I could have seen 70 because okay, maybe
69
you
to
had it
70
on
is an
during
acceptable house temperature.
Yeah, you have that on during the winter, and then you just kind of turned it off for the springtime, and then you turn it back on. You're like, oh shit, I forgot to turn it down because it's so hot outside. And then that's acceptable. But no, she just cranked it up, and it was hot. We went over there, we opened all the windows, cranked the AC so we could push all the hot air out. It was getting better, but holy crap. I was just...
Cats were okay?
Yeah, the cats were fine. They were all right. They were just chilling. One of them's a little plump, so he probably could use the sauna. He was just chilling, with his belly out.
I mean, that's what I do
The
on hot
other-
days, too, so...
Well, one cat's name is Gabriel, and the other one's Lucifer.
Oh,
Lucifer
nice.
was
That's
pretty
loving
metal.
it, so,
That's pretty metal.
Yeah,
I fuck with
yeah.
it.
It's the other one, Michael,
Yeah.
and then Uriel, and then...
She only has two, so...
trying to think of some other archangel names. Is that the only four?
Sure, there's more. I don't know. Quinn's
Zebediah.
probably the one to answer that.
I don't know. The only things that are coming to my mind are the angels of the Kabbalah right now for some reason, and I know those are the incorrect answers. So,
Well, fair enough. I mean, we'll talk about a little bit about demons later.
hell yeah.
So-
Hell yeah.
I guess you've seen it already in the title, but we're going to talk about Nightmare on Elm Street because I struggled last night after John and I's weekly D&D game. I asked him if we were still recording today, and because I'd forgotten to record an episode, or I forgot to write an episode. And I struggled afterwards to try and figure out what to do. I bounce between a couple of things, one of which I probably will do, but I want to give it like more research than a day. And then I saw on the schedule that we were doing Friday the 13th next episode, spoiler. And I was like, you know what? Let's just do the dynamic duo, one episode after the other. So here we are. This week we'll talk about Freddy, and next week we'll talk about Jason, and probably Freddy versus Jason, because I didn't put anything in this episode, because I figured we'll just talk about it next week.
Because that's more of a Jason movie. Of a movie.
Freddy vs. Jason is more of a Jason movie than a Freddy movie. Let's be honest.
I would say so.
They spend so much time on Jason. Like,
Freddy's really only in it, I would say, a quarter of the time.
Yep,
and
I was
really,
going to say 25% too. Yep.
Yeah, he's not really doing a lot in that 25%. Mostly he's just... Yeah, and he's like manipulating Jason. Yeah, and then they fight for 10 minutes and it's over.
Right, that's true. I forgot that was the angle of it.
Yeah.
We don't do news and stuff. We do those in the mini-sodes now, so we can just jump right into the topic.
Woo!
Don't know how long this will be. I'm gonna go over like the general plot of the movies, and then I'm sure we'll make fun of it in between, and then I have some fun facts afterwards. And if John wants to give some facts, because I'm sure you have some.
Off the dome right now?
Oh yeah, not probably.
I don't know, but I'm sure I'll think of some throughout.
There was some. Oh, I'm just gonna go ahead and while I'm vamping for myself, I'm gonna pull up the Nightmare on Elm Street wiki page, because there was something that I forgot to put in here earlier, and I was like, I'll just read off the Wikipedia page when it happens.
Yeah, while you do that, I will say, it's probably a good time to bring this up, but me and Carly actually have a chicken named Freddy, who is named after Freddy Krueger. Originally, we thought it was a girl, and we bought 2 hens, and one was Grace and Frankie, like the Netflix show. And Grace died. We believe that now Freddy killed her.
Oh.
And so we started calling, at the time, Frankie the murder chicken. So then Carly renamed it to Freddy, so that kind of made sense. And then it ended up being a rooster, so makes more sense. And he is the goofiest chicken. I can probably put a picture in the video somewhere.
No, you guys have
to show how
the sleepaway camp of
looks.
Chickens.
What's up?
You have the sleepaway camp of chickens.
Kinda.
It was raised as a girl, but it was really a boy.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it screams, and you can see its cock at the end of the movie, because it is a cock. YouTube will love it when I talk about cocks, because we're talking about chickens. It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah. We're also past the 5-minute mark. So.
Oh, that's true. We are. I just looked at my audio waves. We're good.
Yeah. So you can say penis, dick, cock.
I'm not gonna say all the words that I know for the good old penile. But to jump into it, unfortunately, it is related later on. A Nightmare on Elm Street is an American slasher horror multimedia franchise. I have multimedia in bold in our notes because you'll see. Originally created and written by horror master Wes Craven, consisting of, wait for it, 9 films, a television series, 12 novels, some comic books, 2 video games, a documentary, and a bunch of merchandise that may or may not be appropriate for kids. The overall plot of the series revolves around the character of Freddy Krueger, the spirit of a child murderer who is burned alive by the children's vengeful parents. Freddy returns from the grave to terrorize the teenage residents of Springwood, Ohio, which just goes to prove nothing good happens in Ohio, in their dreams.
Ohio's not real anyways.
That's no, because if Ohio weren't real, we wouldn't have the Loveland Frogman, and I can't let that happen.
Oh, it's true. True.
Using some sort of dream magic to accomplish his murders. It's explained later, but we'll talk about it when it happens. Because it's stupid. So
It's almost worse than the Halloween explanations.
With all the different bullshit that involves Freddy, is he just like the Garfield of horror?
Isn't Garfield the horror Garfield?
I mean, fair enough.
I've seen those fan comics.
The internet has made Garfield a horror. But
Garfield. We did that episode on Garfield. We talked about Garfield without Garfield, right?
Yeah,
that's a horror concept if I've ever seen it.
It's just John in basically like a comic about schizophrenia. He's just like talking to himself and shit. It's great.
Yeah. So, I mean, to go back to your question, is he the Garfield? Yes, but it's New Line's fault.
Like, was that wasn't like the intention though? Like they weren't just trying to make something that was like overly marketable or whatever.
No, because I'll tell you when these movies came out, and they're all within like 10 years. The first 5 are all within like 10 years of not even 10 years, 5 years of each other, and
yeah,
it was a lot of studios pushing for sequels, and Wes Craven having none of it.
Ridiculous.
Okay.
So Nightmare 1, which was just a Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984, made a modest budget of 1.8 million, so not a ton of money, but worldwide box office revenue 57 million, so they made their money back and then some. Like I said, the original film was written and directed by Wes Craven, released in 1984. The story focuses on Freddy, played by Robert Englund, attacking Nancy Thompson and her friends in their dreams. Over the course of the movie, I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna go super into detail because just watch it. It's a slasher. You know what happens. There's goofy over the top kills and dumb
I
shit.
would say that Nightmare 1, it is a good point that you have it in.
I have it at the end. Yeah.
Never mind. Not gonna be that guy.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. He successfully kills everyone but Nancy, who has the plot explained to her by her mother Marge. Freddy was acquitted on a technicality after killing some kids, but because someone forgot to sign the search warrant, he got off on it. So the parents of Springfield burned him alive in an act of vigilante justice in the factory that he worked in.
I say that it's not the only thing he got off.
Well, not in this canon, but yes. Nancy eventually defeats Freddy, and wait, hold on, sorry, I had to turn down my audio because I saw it peaking. At the end of the film, Nancy eventually defeats Freddy by pulling him out of the dream world, stripping him of his powers. And the film ends with what I would consider a very iconic slasher ending, because it's like, it wasn't one of the first, but I guess it was just silly enough that people remember it. It was a shot of Marge being sucked to the window of the front door of their house by Freddy's clawed glove, while Nancy and her now once again alive friends drive away what I can only describe as the Freddy-mobile. Also, like John was probably alluding to, Johnny Depp is in this movie, and it was his first major acting role, so that's neat, given everything that's going on right now.
He probably had the second coolest kill of the movie.
He's the one who sucked to the bed, right?
Yeah. The only one that was cooler than that was the spinning chick towards the beginning, where she's at one point just literally a ceiling fan just whipping blood around the room.
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a pretty good kill. He wore a crop top for most of the film too.
Yeah. Yes, so he did.
If you want to see Johnny Depp in a crop top, this is a movie for you.
The Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge picks up not right after actually, 5 years after the first movie. A new family, the Walshes, move into Nancy's old house. The teenage son of the family, Jesse, has nightmares after being stalked by Freddy, but shrugs it off. About being stalked by Freddy, but shrugs it off. No one really believes him that anything weird's going on. Weird fires start happening around their house, including the family's pet birds just fucking exploding. So that was cool. Eventually we find out through some contrivances that Freddy is possessing Jesse and making him kill people. And Freddy would have gotten away for it too if it wasn't for the power of love.
What?
Yeah, no, I'm not kidding. I wish I was kidding. It
No,
only
he's not kidding.
stops because Jesse's crush like kisses Freddy Jesse, and then like Jesse's fights back against it, and it's like it's really fucking stupid. It's the most, like, I have it in the notes, it's the most fucking next year horror sequel maybe ever, probably because Craven didn't write this one.
Oh,
It
okay,
literally is
okay.
1985, like almost, it is less than a year later actually, because the first one was November 9th, this one's November 1st, 1985. Ooh, that sucks. Budget $3 million. Total worldwide box office, only 29 million, so a little more than half what the first one made.
I will, speaking on the weird fires, I believe this is the one where they had, like somebody actually running through a house party towards the end when, like, you figure out that Jesse is
Yes.
being possessed.
He kills his
There's
bully, I think it's at that house party.
Yeah, and the dude's running through on fire. No one reacts. There's like zero reactions to anybody at the party. Like, watch the scene. Everyone just kind of looks at him, and they're just like solo cups in hand, like, oh, there's a dude on fire. That's cool.
It's
And then it's like the scene's over.
Yeah, if that sounds goofy, just wait, it gets worse. Okay.
Yeah, I would say the next two, without spoiling anything, I would not consider them horror movies.
No, they become like weird.
It's like weird dark comedy,
I guess.
maybe like
Borderline, like, goofy, funny. I think they're trying to take themselves seriously, but I really cannot tell at this point.
The only thing that saves this is Robert Englund's like acting of Freddy. Like, that's the only thing that really saves the rest of these movies from here on out, really.
Because they get real contrived and bad.
Yeah.
So
They're
next
fun
we have,
still.
Yeah, they're fun, but it's just like I said, like we keep saying, like, you can tell these movies all came out in like 5 years of each other because studios were like, make us more money, please.
The next one is my favorite one, though.
Nightmare 3, The Dream Warriors. Okay.
Okay. To me, it's like a giant hair metal music video.
Yeah, kind of.
Like the whole thing.
So in this one, like Nightmare 3 Dream Warriors, Freddy is killing off the rest of the Elm Street kids from the original movie, but they're in a mental hospital because they apparently attempted suicide, but I think it's implied that Freddy was trying to kill them. Nancy arrives on scene and tries to save the kids, helping them find their, quote, dream powers so they can fight Freddy. The kid's doctor, Neil, meets the spirit of Amanda Krueger, Freddy's mother, and she tells him that to finally defeat Freddy, they have to bury his bones in hollowed ground. Neil does this, but Freddy kills Nancy first.
Oh. It's not very nice.
Yeah, we're, we'll yeah. Nightmare 4, The Dream Master. We're not even to the worst part yet. So the kids from the last movie, except Nancy, have survived, but now they just immediately die after one of them, Kristen, accidentally releases Freddy's spirit again. And before she's killed, she transfers her dream powers to her friend Alice. Alice accidentally kills more of her classmates by bringing them into her dreams with their new powers, allowing Freddy access to kill them. Alice eventually Alice eventually learns to use the power of the, quote, Dream Master, unquote, to release the souls of all the children Freddy has killed, which tears him apart in the process and defeats him.
So how did they release him?
Let me look. I don't really remember, to be honest with you.
I
Maybe
don't
John knows.
remember how they released them, but I will say that probably both the worst and best parts of this movie is when they find out that they have powers because of how they realize them. They're just like, oh my God, I have like, it's like a Power Rangers movie. It's like, holy shit, I got powers now? Like, check this out. And I can't remember if it's 3 or 4, but there is a dude in a wheelchair that gets powers, and he can walk his power in the dream world is he can walk.
I don't remember that.
I'm almost positive it was 3 or 4. And I think he might have had more powers past then, but like the one that they really nailed down on is like, hey, you can walk now.
So I think I'm looking at like the actual Wikipedia, like full plot Wikipedia entry. I think they just bring Freddy back by like continuing to use their dream powers, and then like he just shows back up.
Oh, okay,
makes sense.
Okay.
That makes sense to me.
So
why would you keep using your dream powers? Like, come on.
Because it's the 80s, and you have cool dream powers where you can do whatever you want in your dreams. So here's where things get weird.
This is where they get weird in your opinion?
No, it gets worse in... Is it this one or the next one? We'll see. Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. Sometime after the first film, this one picks up with Freddy using Alice's unborn baby Jacob to resurrect himself and kill again. Surprise, surprise. The spirit of Freddy's mom, Amanda, shows up again and explains that Freddy was conceived when she was a nun working in a mental asylum. She was locked in a room with, quote, 100 maniacs, unquote, and, I don't want to say the word, so I'll just say assaulted by these 100 maniacs 100 times.
Hard R word on that one.
Yeah. And, Amanda tells Jacob to use the powers that Freddy gave him, which gives her a chance to subdue him long enough for Jacob and Alice to escape the dream world.
This is the one that he turns into a giant baby at the end?
I think so.
Or like starts to turn into this one I think I've only seen like once or twice. Once for sure, but I'm pretty sure he turns into a baby and they defeat him that way. And he's a really nasty, like, fetal Freddy baby. You think of a fetus and then Freddy's face.
Basically,
Smash him together.
Okay.
This episode might be a little short. Oh well, who cares? Freddy's dead, the final nightmare. Spoiler, it's not. This one follows quote-unquote John Doe, an amnesiac teenager from Springfield trying to find Freddy's daughter Maggie. Freddy plans to make new Elm Streets all over the country after he's killed all the children of Springfield. Maggie uses some new dream powers, uncovers Freddy's... to uncover Freddy's... I don't know what I fucking wrote here. Maggie uses some new dream powers to uncover Freddy's past. He was made fun of at school because of how he was conceived. He was cruel to animals, beaten up by his stepfather. He murdered his own wife after she found out he was killing kids, which, you know, maybe even worse. I mean, not worse than killing kids, but like, you don't have to kill your wife. And how the dream demons, this is where it gets goofy, and how the dream demons came to him in his last moments and offered him eternal life. Like I said, remember how I said Freddy's power? We learned how Freddy's powers work? Here we are. It's dream demons. It's really dumb. Why can't we just let my man Fred be a vengeful ghost?
I feel like in this situation, it's much like...
demon?
They're these little worm things?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, let me...
We'll put a
can't-
picture in the video.
I can't, like, show you on Discord because it'll fuck it up. I wish I could. They're
okay.
like... these little worm mask things, and
if you just look up Dream
like
Demons,
yeah,
it'll pop up. But I'll post a picture for everyone that's like watching on YouTube too, because yeah, they're like floating masks with tails almost.
Yo, these dream demons look dumb as shit.
Yeah,
they're like little sperm cells.
I've been forgetting to say the box office numbers, but these are all making their money just
off of the name.
Until we get to Dream Child, which cost $8 million to make and only got $22 million in return. And then this one, $9 million to make, only $34 million in return. So you can definitely see like the like, not, I guess it's more of a downward trend graph where it's just your return on investment is going down. It's an all-time high at the first one, and then just going, what?
Just like crypto.
Oof, what a relevant and timed statement. Maggie eventually pulls Freddy out of the dream world again, and she kills him with a pipe bomb.
What? Like, I like how, like, all the other movies are like, you have to bury his bones on hollowed ground or, like, do all this other shit. And, like, this one's like, nah, it's just pipe bomb.
Yep.
That's all we needed. That's all you needed the whole time. Release all the spirits of the kids he killed. Nah, it's too much work. Fucking blow him up. My fucking cat right now, dude. She's so rude.
I'll say that it's impressive how fast they throw the pipe bomb together.
Yeah, it's very fast.
I wouldn't say that's a hard bomb to make.
I don't know if that's something you should talk about on Discord.
No, it
or
probably
YouTube.
isn't.
I think you might be on a watch list now that you've said that sentence.
I've just seen
Just
some
bleep
films.
that whole thing. Everyone has Google, okay?
Yeah, and you can Google Wes Craven's New Nightmare. They just completely cut out the Nightmare on Elm Street and just went with New Nightmare. I don't really want to talk about this one too long. It's really silly. They were trying to it was capitalizing on the idea of meta horror at the time.
That's very heavy.
Because it's set in the quote real world where Wes Craven and the actress who played Nancy, Heather Langenkamp, exist.
Yeah, she plays herself in this, doesn't she?
Yes. Yes.
But it's also like she's noticeably, I guess like not noticeably, but she's definitely aged since the original film.
Yeah, I think that's the point. I think they're not trying to
Is there a
hide
time
that.
lapse?
Yeah, because the whole thing is about how there's this evil entity living in the fiction of the Nightmare movies, and it enjoys being Freddy Krueger. So there's like a 5-year gap between the last movie and this one, or no, 2 years, I guess. They only waited 3 years. So they waited 3 years to talk about how what is basically their tulpa was pissed that there hadn't been movies, so it decided to kill the actress's son, and they stop it like they always fucking do. And
I love slasher films. It's probably one of my favorite genre. I hate though the ones where they very obviously end. Just like they kill them, like the last one, they used a pipe bomb. You know, the children ripped them apart. This franchise is probably the worst for doing it, is that every movie almost, except for the first one probably, and yeah, probably the first one, I think, maybe the second one, they kill him. But then he just comes, they have some BS reason in the next film on how he comes back.
Well, like, do you think they were, like, planning on, like, fucking rebooting it as many times as they did?
I think New Line was planning on it. I don't think Wes Craven was.
No, I don't think Wes Craven was at all, but I feel like they should just maybe think a couple years ahead. Just a couple.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, maybe would we want to do another film? Like, should we leave it open-ended a little bit? You could still blow him up with a pipe bomb and then just like show like a fingy moving at the end.
Yeah.
Like, oh, maybe they didn't get him.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean,
John,
they do it
that's
in the
my
next
piece
one.
on that.
They definitely do that in the next film, which is Freddy versus Jason. And like I said earlier, I'm sure we'll talk about this one next week more. Suffice for now, it's completely fucking off the walls because isn't there a scene in this movie where like Freddy and Jason are literally like flying around the dream world, like killing each other?
I think
Or am I imagining
so?
that? That feels like it's real.
The one scene that I remember so vividly from this movie is when the nerdy dude and the very obviously like they meant to do it black girl in the movie. Like they did not try to hide that it was like this girl is the token black chick.
Yeah,
and I felt so bad the whole time watching it. It's like, come on, like we get it. We can see her.
It felt like a scary,
Like,
not
but
like
she was-
it felt like a scary movie, the franchise character.
Yeah. But they figure out like he's got a crush on her, and then at the end she's like, "Oh, I like you too. Like you're nerdy, but I like you." And then she gets fucking cut in half. Like immediately afterwards, like they kiss, cut in half, and it's done. And I was probably, I can't remember when this came out, but I was young. Like we were young when it came out. I
Yeah.
audibly laughed still.
2003, so we were 8.
I didn't even find it
technically
scary.
we would have been 7 because it was before it was August.
I probably saw it like a year or two after.
Yeah,
that, I would
probably
say, but
same.
like I remember seeing it the first time and not laughing or not being scared that a person just got cut in half. I just thought it was so funny.
I'll be straight up. Freddy vs. Jason was the first one I think I saw, and it terrified me. The idea of like someone like something being able to come into your dreams and hurt you. So I was like probably too young to have seen this movie when I did, but you know, whatever, it's fine. It's the same way the ring used to give me. I used to be afraid to take a shower because I was afraid the ring girl was going to come up out of my drain.
I will say that like there is like a special place in like my heart for that movie because it is one of like the first movies that I saw that kind of got me into the horror genre. But it obviously has a lot of, you know, like shortcomings and stuff like that. But I thought that they did a pretty decent job of like creating suspense at the beginning of the movie. And like where like they're trying, like there was a couple characters where they were just trying to stay awake for a while.
Yeah.
And like it was like they were doing a good job of the acting at the beginning where they were like trying to stay awake and stuff, and they're like passing out and like stuff was happening. But then once they introduced, like Freddy got the idea like, oh, I can manipulate this like zombie Jason into killing them in the real world. And then I can still like, we can kill them. And it just, that point was the turning point where I'm like, yeah, this movie's a little out there.
It's a little bit of something. It's a little bit something.
Yeah.
I can't remember like the moment that for me, but yes, I'm pretty sure the first time I saw it, even though the concept of Freddy scared me, like I'm pretty sure it was just like, oh, this is
I just didn't like
a
his
strange
face.
movie.
Fucked me up, you know? It's like, whoa, why does he look like that?
It's
The
kind of
concept of him wasn't what
Burned up.
got me. It was just how he looked.
That's
Which
fair.
is
I mean,
weird.
the glove is really fucking weird. Like, kind of creepy.
will-
Yeah. Yeah, see, like, I was, like, never afraid to, like, go to sleep as a kid or whatever after watching it. But, like, it was just, like, the sight of him was just like, yo, what the fuck, man? I don't
That's
like
fair.
this.
I think you have something later on about some of the costume, so I won't bring.
I
it
have
up
some
until
of it,
later.
yeah. I don't have like much
But-
about like the burn prosthetics and everything, but I have some of it of like we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
Nightmare remake. I'll just pop this one out real quick. Basically the same movie as the first one, except now Freddy is a confirmed child molester, and all the kids were his victims before the parents burned him alive.
But this movie tried to pull one over on you and make it seem like he wasn't a child molester.
Yeah.
Until like the last 15 minutes of the movie.
I feel like that's such an unnecessary detail to put in, though.
Because the whole plot is like the character of Nancy in this movie is like, oh, they were wrong. This didn't happen, and then like
that's why he's coming back to kill them.
Yeah,
because
he's innocent.
He was smirching his good name.
Yeah,
he was innocent, and he's trying to take it out on the parents. Like, oh well, now I'll just kill your kids. But it wasn't.
Then she finds like a toolbox full of pictures, and it's like, oh
yeah, like a bunch of her and her friends naked.
Gotcha.
It's like, oh no, we were molested. So
yeah, and then there's this weird almost Saw-like scene, the cut jump scene, where the camera and it's there's that scene where it's she's remembering being molested, and I was like, that's not needed. The pictures were enough. We got the picture.
It was that movie came out in 2010, so that kind of jump cutty bullshit was very popular at the time.
Oh yeah.
Very popular. Also, it was produced by Michael Bay, so, do with that what you will.
Yay, one of my favorite directors. Right after James Cameron.
Oh, we'll talk about that in the mini episode, so keep listening for that one.
Oh, Jesus.
Did you not see the trailer yet?
I may have, but we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it. So some interesting background stuff that I found. The original basis for the first film is kind of dark. So in the 1970s, there were a ton of Khmer refugees coming from Cambodia during the Khmer Rouge genocide. That's a heavy subject in and of itself that I'm not going to touch. But a lot of these refugees had seen really horrible shit back in Cambodia and were having PTSD nightmares. And so a lot of them were refusing to even sleep. And soon, a group of men between 19 and 57 just started dying in their sleep. The medical authorities maybe kind of racistly called it Asian death syndrome. And it's widely believed to be sudden, unexplained death syndrome or Krueger syndrome, which is a disorder where your heart beats irregularly while you're sleeping, can kill you. But yeah, I think
it's almost
there's something about Wes Craven reading an article on that and being like, oh,
it's
what
almost
if it's a demon.
It's like the unexplained death syndrome, with babies.
SIDS.
That's a big issue where they just in their sleep, their heart just stops beating.
Oh,
another inspiration was
it's kind of fucked.
It's fucked.
Yeah.
Another inspiration was the 70s pop song Dreamweaver by Gary Wright, which sealed the story for Craven and also influenced the synth riff that's used in the film. I think it might even be just that synth riff, I'm not sure. But initially, Craven did want Krueger to be a child molester, but decided to just make him a child murderer. I don't know. I'm not going to get into the morality of one versus the other. In fear of being accused of exploiting a highly publicized spree of child molestation cases in California around the time of production. So, just wait about 20 years and someone will do it for you. Craven has said that his adolescence led to the naming of Fred Krueger because he'd been bullied by a boy with the same name in school, so he made his childhood villain the villain of the movie.
So, was that the dude's name in real life then?
That's what Wikipedia says, yes.
So he just made this dude hella famous.
Basically.
Essentially. Interesting. I don't know if that's a power move or not. I think it's the opposite of a power move, isn't it?
It's
I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like he thought, he's I'm going to make him a bad guy. And then now he's one of the most famous I guess he's still a bad guy, but he's incredibly famous.
True. So Freddy's kind of has a couple of iconic things that I haven't mentioned so far. He wears a fedora. He's got his little knife glove.
Lame.
And he has a red and green striped sweater. So the sweater was based on the DC Comics character Plastic Man. And then Craven chose the colors of red and green because he wrote an article in Scientific American that said that the two most clashing colors to the human retina were red and green. So he like went out of his way to be like, what's the ugliest, like the most scary thing I can make my dream child killer wear?
Yeah, I feel like they took like a weird amount of effort to make him just unsettling to look at in general.
Oh
like
yeah, I mean he's also covered in
to the
burn
sweater.
scars. Like
Yeah, and burn scars, like as bad as it sounds, like it's terrible that happens, but like obviously it's very unsettling in the still to this day.
It's like you said,
to
it's
look
unfortunate that it's like that, but it's also like that. How do I like the fear of like, oh, that could be me. It's not like necessarily like, oh, this person is scary. It's like, oh, that's unfortunate, and that could also happen to someone.
It's like a flush of emotions of that has to be so painful. How you got it, like, and then you also like think of like it has to be awful, like having to see yourself like that when you not have always looked like that, like, and like where I work, we do a certain amount of our proceeds go to the Hoosier Burn Camp, which helps like kids that have like a bunch of burns and stuff, and the kids are awesome, and it's awful, but like you just can't help but like have all those emotions, and then you do get unsettled, which sucks.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's just like, I guess, reality of the way things are.
Yeah.
Robert Englund has revealed that there was once a prequel in the works that was basically a legal drama because it would have followed two policemen trying to catch the Springwood slasher, and then the two lawyers who would have handled the subsequent legal like affairs going on, and then I get probably Freddy's acquittal. So yeah, nah.
So it would have been like Law and Order.
Law and Order, Nightmare on the Court.
Law and Order Street.
Nightmare in the Courtroom. I don't know if did they say what the. Yeah, so the prequel was tentatively called The First Kills, which is a fucking lame title.
It doesn't even really.
Unless they were gonna add like like Nightmare on Elm Street : The First Kills, but.
Yeah, if they were just gonna call it that, no one would have went and saw that.
No, because there's nothing that tells you what it is. There was another prequel that never got made about Freddy being trapped in hell between his being killed and his eventual return in the original film. This is interesting. This film didn't get made because Little Nicky came out around the same time, and it was a box office bomb for New Line, they were like, no more movies set in hell. Okay,
but Little Nicky is awesome.
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad of a movie, I guess.
That's probably one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies.
I wouldn't disagree. I think it's funny. I'm just saying it did.
No,
let's
look at it hard.
Oh my!
Well,
this movie. Okay, so Little Nicky cost somewhere between $80 and $85 million, and it only made 58.3 at the box office.
Oh,
it's a rough one.
So they lost $30 million on that movie.
I feel like Little Nicky was much like went down the same path, kind of like a Dogma did at the time, like where a lot of people were like the Satanic Panic was still a big thing. I mean, I feel like even now, well, yeah, it still kind of is. Like it's getting better, but so many people were like, "No, nothing about Satan. It's going to make our children kill John Lennon again."
Kill John Lennon.
My least favorite TikTok trend.
Yeah, I hate that.
I'm a fan of it.
It's just
I
so
enjoy a
fucking
good
annoying.
John Lennon dying joke.
I mean, that's funny.
I will throw in that I think it's impressive. A lot of when I've heard this, like they made it seem like it was a long time, but I was reading that it took 3 hours to put his prosthetics on every day for shooting, which I think that's honestly kind of impressive for prosthetics.
3 hours. I was gonna say 3 hours. Well, I guess they only had to do the neck up, right? Because
I think that included his hands.
Was the hands not just part of the gloves?
He only wore one glove, and then the other hand was. So I think they did the one hand, and then. But I think if I remember right, it comes down to about here, which no one can see me on the podcast, but right under.
I mean,
the
I
titties.
have. Well, yeah, on the podcast, on the audio version, but right around just under your pectorals.
Your pectorals. Yeah, so I think it's like there, but I don't think 3 hours is that. I think that's actually kind of impressive.
I feel like since it was just I haven't seen actually too much of the, because there is that documentary about the making of the first movie, but I haven't seen too much of it. Was it like a full like mask, or did they actually like go on and like apply latex to like?
I think what it was one big kind of over mask, and then they went back to apply prosthetics around the facial features so that he could still make the faces.
Yeah, because that's such a big part of the movie is like Freddy, like he's so emotive.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big things why I like Freddy is because he is so expressive.
I would agree.
Because I mean, you have Michael Myers, and he has a mask on and can't do anything. You have Jason has a mask on and can't do anything. Like you have all these Leatherface. I mean, Leatherface is probably the only one that has a mask that's pretty expressive, but he's also like canonly another different hard R word that I'm not going to say on the podcast.
We'll just say he's
and
disabled.
They yes, and they really overplay it. Like with his body language.
I'm pretty sure they use that other R word in those movies, so
They do. But you have all these guys that have masks on and you can't tell their facial, and like Freddy's kind of cool because you can see what he's feeling.
I think that helps a lot with the horror too, because I think that's why so many people find Silence of the Lambs scary too. Is because Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter is like so emotive with his facial expressions, and like it's just scary to like look at certain people when they're in character, I guess.
Especially with Silence of the Lambs, I will say, because he rides a really nice line between almost being facially emotionless and then very emotional, like when he needs to be. Like, because sometimes he talks and he's almost like a plastic mannequin, and it's very eerie.
I think that's probably intentional, because I think...
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, Hannibal Lecter is like the textbook psychopath, so...
The only other thing that I will say, if you want to go watch Dream Warriors, go for it. But you can watch the shortened version, which is Dream Warriors, the song by Dokken. Which is just the music video that uses clips from that movie, and Dokken defeats Freddy. So go watch that if you want to, because it's pretty much just they take out all the substance and get right to the meat of it, really, right to the bones.
Yeah,
and it's a good song too.
Do they bury them on hollow ground or no?
I think they blow them up with music.
Oh, of course.
If I remember right, I'd have to watch it again, but I'm pretty sure they rock him into an explosion.
Music video thing to do, yeah.
Yeah, old, but it's just not old, but just like corny rock video thing. I don't know.
Oh,
you know.
Yeah, it's very corny, but it's also like it's I enjoy it because I remember watching it on like VH1 like when I was younger because I loved hair metal.
Music.
Yeah, but like when I loved hair metal when I was younger.
Yeah.
And it was it's a good bop and it was a great music video. Because they did really well between cutting the movie and then also the music video together because they pop up like in like the dream sequences and stuff.
That's
so
fair. I don't think I have. Oh, I don't have anything. I do. I was going to talk about I'll touch real quickly on. There's like an anthology series called Freddy's Nightmares, which is kind of like a Twilight Zone, but like with just instead of being hosted by what's his name, it's hosted by Freddy Krueger.
Oh.
I mean Robert
know
Englund
that.
as Freddy Krueger. Yeah. What's that name of the guy who? Rod Sterling? Is that it? Is that right? I think so.
What are you trying to find?
The guy who did the the guy who comes up at the beginning of every, and the beginning and the end of every Twilight Zone episode.
Oh yeah.
Rod Sterling, yeah. Rod Serling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so instead of him, it's fucking Freddy Krueger.
Did you say Serling?
Yeah, there's no T in it.
I've been adding a T to that my entire
Me too.
life then.
Until just now when I saw it in Wikipedia, me too.
Because when you said Rod Sterling, I was like, yes, that's him.
Although apparently there's only one episode with Freddy Krueger actually in it. It's the pilot episode No More Mr. Nice Guy, which depicts the events of Krueger's trial, his subsequent death at the parents of Elm Street after his acquittal. And it was directed by Tobe Hooper, who you might know as the creator of the Texas Chainsaw franchise. So that was...
Mm-hmm.
And they changed the reason for his acquittal in the TV show to be him not getting his Miranda rights read. So, you know.
Does that actually hold up in court? I don't think that does.
I feel like maybe. I don't know.
I feel like it still does. I don't know.
I feel like it depends on like the severity of.
I think they have a super generous window of when they can read you those rights.
Okay.
I think it's until you're booked. They have any time between your arrest and then to read you your Miranda rights.
Oh, because
I'm not much
feel
mistaken.
like if anything,
I would love to be proven wrong.
Yeah, I feel like you should still be able to go. Like, say you did the things Freddy did. I feel like you shouldn't get off because somebody didn't read you your Miranda rights. I feel like if anything, when you went to get your bail set, maybe that falls through. But I feel like jail time or prison time should still be on there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I guess you could just arrest him again, right?
Probably, because he was technically wasn't charged with the crime, so double jeopardy wouldn't come into play, right? Like, I don't know.
That, or you could charge him for. Sounds bad, but if you charge him for one kid, you could just charge him for a different kid. Right?
Yeah. So, like I said, there's 12 novels. There's a novel for each film, because of course there is. I think there's other. Yeah, there has to be other ones too. Wait, what? Oh my God! There's 5 for the original. Then someone re-released different ones, and then the final 2 books are the novel adaptation of New Nightmare and Freddy vs. Jason. What the fuck?
I'd be interested to read the Freddy vs. Jason novel.
Yeah, because it's so.
That's
visual.
probably the only
like,
one that I'd be interested.
There's a bunch of comics. like Marvel Comics,
Extremely
Innovation
descriptive.
Comics. Extremely.
It would work as a comic, I guess.
A lot of horror. I mean, Jason's popped up in comic books. Michael's popped up before.
Freddy. What about
That's
Freddy
pretty
versus
common.
Jason versus Ash, the Nightmare Warriors?
Is that actually?
This is a real one, which Freddy versus Jason versus Ash Williams, the Nightmare Warriors.
Oh, Ash Williams, yeah. Sorry, I just heard the Dream Warriors one, but yeah, I knew the Ash Williams one.
I think this
Yeah,
one
there's
is
a
just
couple
like
Freddy versus
super-
Jason versus whatever. I think there's one with Wolverine.
That's probably right.
Or maybe that one never came out and it was supposed to.
So here's the merchandise. Like I said, I talk about some weird shit that I don't know why it's released like this. February 2010, a Funko Pop Freddy bobblehead was released.
Of course.
In 2010, NECA, North National Entertainment Collectibles, okay, released a 10-inch puppet of Freddy Krueger from Phillips's death scene in A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 of Death Warriors, or Dream Warriors. They released that, a metallic replica of his glove, and 2 action figures. Freddy before he was burned, I don't know why you'd want that one, and the other of him after being burned, that included 2 interchangeable heads. Also, I'm sure there were other action figures, because I distinctly remember seeing them when I was a kid. Like, bootleg ass.
Oh, go to
Nightmare.
FYE. There's
Yeah.
hundreds.
There's also 2 video games.
I did not know there were video games.
There's only 2, and they were really old. There's A Nightmare on Elm Street for the Nintendo Entertainment Center, released in 1989. Up to 4 players can control characters who jump and punch their way through Elm Street locations as they collect the bones of Freddy Krueger to place them in a furnace and end his reign of terror. And then there's one for the Commodore 64/IBM PC. It has role-playing elements? What?
Hell yeah. I want to roleplay as Nancy.
I mean, she's in this game. Enemies
I
vary.
think it's also an honorable mention that he is in the Mortal Kombat franchise as well.
He's also in the... Ooh, did he get removed from Dead by Daylight? I think he's still in it, right?
Yeah, I believe
he
so.
is.
He should be.
The thing that got removed was the Hellraiser stuff for a little bit.
Yeah, that was like licensing issues, I thought.
It was licensing issues because they got like a different voice actor to do his lines, and they had a lawsuit going on with the guy who did their voice. I think that's it. There's other someone wanted to produce a Freddy versus Jason video game. Got delayed and never was
I kind of
released.
remember that.
Yeah, I feel like I'm surprised that like never actually like came to fruition. I feel like that would have been an easy money grab.
Oh, especially at the time, yeah. Just release some shitty, like the AVP game, just release some shitty video game adaptation and like buy it off of kids who will just buy it on, do what John did and buy the AVP game based on the name alone and then hate it.
I fucking hated that game.
You live and you learn, okay?
I did the same shit. I would just buy like video games that I recognize the names of, so...
That's probably one of the games that makes me now watch gameplay before I buy it.
Yeah.
Like there's not many games that I'm like, I'm gonna pre-order this game. It's like, no, I'm gonna do my research first, and a lot of the times I even wait for it to come out and get feedback from friends first, and then I'm like, oh, okay, now I'll buy it.
I have a problem where I won't do that. I'll get really hyped up on something like Cyberpunk, and I'll make that my entire life for a month, and then realize it's a bad game. So,
I mean, I did that with Elden Ring. So, I mean, we got Elden Ring. I played it like hardcore for like a month, and then now I have not touched it in like.
I just finished my second playthrough today by
while.
sheer luck, so it's fine. I guess that's it. We're almost up to an hour. I actually made it.
Hey.
We're here.
Ayo.
We made it.
Do you guys have anything else, or do we just want to hop into plugs and then do our mini-sode?
Let's hop into plugs.
Yeah.
All right, John, tell everyone how you
interesting.
changed your name on everything.
I did.
Again.
Again. Yeah. So one day I was thinking, I was like, so this was after I went this is after I went to Starbucks actually. And all the time when I go out to eat and stuff, they always put JON on everything. And my name's not Jonathan. It's just John, JOHN.
Is this going to be a story about how like Quentin found out that his middle name wasn't just JON?
But now, so now you can find me not John, spelled JON. I'm just gonna embrace it at this point and use it
Accept
as my YouTube, Instagram, all that shit.
Game of
Screw
Thrones
it.
really fucked a whole group of people, huh?
Kinda.
Because that character's name is spelled JON.
I think, I mean, everyone always thinks, like, if people at work, like, people that know me have always tried to say, like, oh, hey, Jonathan, like, it's not my name. It's fine. Like, I'm over it now. It's just kind of irritating. And I'm like, I'll just embrace it so it stops irritating me.
That's fair.
Because if you
Respectable.
play along with the joke, you can't get your feelings hurt.
Just tell him you're named
That's how it
after the
works, right?
astronaut, right?
Hmm?
So just tell him you're named after the astronaut.
I've said that before, and then they're like, oh, really? I'm like, no, not actually.
That's what I tell people, even though I know it's not true.
It's definitely not true. And my middle name only has one N in Glenn, but it's fine. I wish they would have added the second one. That would have been cool.
You can find my movie reviews on Letterboxd at Timmy C. I just reviewed something. You can find me on everything else at Hot Pink Waffles, and my Twitch is Uncle Funkelshroom. I'm trying to figure out what I reviewed.
I love that every week Tim goes, this is my Letterboxd. I just reviewed something.
I don't remember, honestly. Something. Oh, the Batman. Batman was the last thing I reviewed. It's a good movie. I liked that movie a lot.
I liked it a lot too. I will say that after I kind of let it settle, I thought it was an amazing movie, and now I think it was a good movie.
Okay.
Maybe very good movie. But I really thought that it was like, holy shit, this is an awesome movie. Everyone needs to go see it. And then I kind of let it settle, kind of thought about some scenes here and there, and now I'm at the point where I'm like, it was good. It's my favorite Batman movie. I will say that.
Same, honestly.
But
how about,
I think
how about
it could,
you, your
could have been
socials, and your
better.
opinions on the Batman?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the Batman.
Yeah, I
yet,
know you don't
but,
watch movies, but
my socials are Twitter. I think I'm just Boxwine now on Twitter.
you got a
Along
bat.
with
Oh wait, no, never mind. That was not your original one.
yeah. No, so I'm Boxwine with a 0 instead of an O on Twitter and Twitch. Both of the T websites.
And we should probably tell everyone that we changed the podcast socials. Now we're RRP podcasts
Podcasts.
on everything, including our email is do we have a new email too, or did you just change it?
Yeah, I set up a new email.
Okay,
it's
cool.
a little easier. The old one
that would
was
make
kind of
sense.
long, and with the ampersand versus the and thing, because you can't put ampersands in emails, it kind of got a little
And full of Eastern European kids saying they'd make us beats and they never do.
yeah. But yeah, RRP podcasts are pretty much all of our socials. Kind of teamed up to start maybe doing some more projects and stuff under that, and growing the brand.
It's
So
all about
it's-
the brand.
Yeah, so we're Rewind and Reload, and now kind of I guess it would be the production is R&R. So we kind of just went with R&R because this was the first podcast on here. Anything after this was a great project that we're going to put effort into, but this is kind of the soul of of everything. You know, this is where it started, so got to make sure that we stick to our roots.
One day will be one of those shitty production logos at the beginning of your favorite bad movie.
Honestly,
because we'll send $1,000 to some Kickstarter movie.
One of my dreams would be to make a movie, to make a horror movie. So
Hell yeah.
maybe one day.
All right. I think that's it for us. We will catch you in the mini-sode, which will be out next week. And I'll talk to you then.
Woo!
Bye.